let's talk about data types and variables. So first of all, I will start with data type. So what is a data type? Data types are the most fundamental features of programming language in that the data type of variable is defined by its value, while the variables are used to store value. Let me quickly explain more about variables. Okay, so variables is used to store the value and refer the memory location in computer memory. When we create a variable, the dat compiler allocates some space in memory. So today, the first data type I'll be talking about is string. So string is a data type. It is used in storing a text values. For example, I want to store a text value, so I will first of all start by calling a data type of string, then I will also followed by the variable. So the variable will be the name or whatsoever you want to store, whichsoever piece of information you wanted to store at that moment. So I will first of all come with the data type followed by the variable. So I will use my variable as name, then now say equal to. So a data type of string and a variable called name is equal to, let's say my name, let's say Frank, then we'll enter a semicolon. So semicolon is the most common thing in programming language. So you might see me forgetting to add this semicolon, and at the end of the day I will try correcting some errors and adding them again. Alright, let me quickly explain. We have a data type here called string and have a variable called name. And what is inside this name? It is Frank. So this Frank is stored here. So when we try to print name, we will get the output of Frank. Although we can hard code it and print Frank straight. But in a situation whereby you are typing maybe 100 lines of codes and you are calling names in different places, maybe you have where the name is written in up to 10 places, and you decided to change the name, you start looking for the name one after the other. But it's a very simple thing. You can quickly come over here where you stored the value or the variable. You can come here, you can come to the variable, proceed to the value. You can quickly change the value. So when you change the value, everything works fine. So for now, let me quickly print name so that you are going to see that Frank is going to be printed out. So I'll click on run. So as you can see, we have Frank. Frank is printed out right now. But I can as well print Frank direct here, like I said earlier. I can as well print Frank. So when I do this, I still have Frank. So in a situation whereby we have many codes or many places where Frank is being called, and at the end of the day you decide to change names, you will not be, or you're not going to be looking for a way to start changing them one after the other. Let me quickly make an example here. So I'll just write a small sentence. I will say my name is Frank. I am 25 years old. I will say the name Frank was given to me by my mom. Was given to me by my mom. and I will also say my dad, or I will say I love it, so I love it when my parents calls me, or calls me Frank. So in this example, when you check very well, you will see that Frank appears in many places. Let's say we have Frank here, we have Frank here, and we have Frank here. So if you want to change these values, maybe you want to change the name to Mike or whatsoever. So if you change this one after the other, it's going to work as well. But that's a whole lot of process. So in this case, let's run this code. When we run this code, you can see we have Frank here, we have Frank here, and we have Mike here, just because I changed this to Mike. So I will quickly change this to Frank again. Then coming up here, I have a value here which I have stored as Frank. So for me to be able to call this variable to display whatsoever value we have here, I will change this Frank and call this variable to display this. So to do that, I'll first of all clear this, then I'll type a $sign, open a curly bracket, then we'll type the variable in which we used in storing the value, then we'll close our curly brackets. So what did you just do here? We call this variable here. I know that the value of this variable is Frank. So when we try to run this code, we are going to see that it's going to be Frank. So I will quickly copy this and do it to the rest of the place that I have Frank. Coming over here, I'll paste this. Coming over here too, I'll paste this. So let's run this code again and see. So you can see that it's still showing Frank, and Frank. So when we come here and say let's change to my second name, which is Wilson, and I'll run this code again, you see that my name has changed from Frank to Wilson. So it's a very common thing that you need to understand, have a basic knowledge of, so that when you have 1,000 lines of code and maybe you are writing a book that has an author, or you are writing about someone where you have mentioned the name in many places, you don't just have to be changing them one after the other. So when you are writing your sentence, when it gets to where you will type name, you just have to call the variable and continue, so that whenever you want to decide to change the name, or maybe you decide to reuse the code for another project, you can as well come over here and change it. Let me quickly show you something again that is very common, and sometimes it's needed, or let's say sometimes it's important. I just showed you a simple way to store a variable using a data type. So let's say that we've written a lot of codes, and it now gets to a point where we need to change the name, but we don't want to come up here again and change this name here. We just want to quickly change the name, change whatever that is stored in this variable. We just quickly want to change it. We can as well, we can come over here, or maybe here, anywhere. You can come here and type name equals to whatsoever name you want to change it to. You can say Frank again. So what did I just do here? I'm just trying to tell the computer that I want to change the value of this variable from Wilson to Frank at the moment. Although that does not mean that whatsoever I have stored below this should not change. let it take an effect immediately after I've entered it. So whatever I print inside here, whatever I print or enter here, it's going to call my name as Frank, not Wilson. So at this point, if we try to print name, you are going to see that my name is going to be printed as Frank and not Wilson anymore. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not supposed to enter this. So when I print name, let me quickly get rid of this so that you will not be confused. So when I print name, it's still going to show as Frank. So getting back to the code I just removed, let me run this code again and explain something to you. You can see everything I wrote here that was under this variable, this string, data type and variable which has a value of Wilson, displayed my name as Wilson, which you can see here, we can see here, and we can see here. So what now happened that we try to print name and it shows Frank, which is here. So we told the computer that at the moment, change the value of name, which is a variable, change the value of this variable to Frank. So whatsoever you write here and print is going to be displayed as Frank, or whatsoever name you stored it with. I will get rid of this. I want to show you another cool stuff. Let me show you a cool stuff on what you can still do. There are still lots of cool stuff you can do with this. First of all, I will type print name dot I'll say length, name dot length. So what am I trying to tell the computer to do? I'm trying to tell the computer to print the numbers of alphabets, that's inside this variable. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6. When we try to print name dot length, we are going to get 6, nothing less than 6. And again, another cool stuff we can do, we can also say name dot contents. You can say name dot contents. Then you can say W. So what did we just do here? We try to tell the computer to check if this variable has an alphabet or a letter of E on it. So when we try to run this code, we are going to get a true because we have W. So a true is a Boolean expression. It's another type of data type on that. The code is here to run because I think I'm having network issue because I'm working online. So we are going to get true. When we enter a value or a word or an alphabet or text that's not inside of this, you are going to see that it's going to be returned as false. So a Boolean expression is either true or false. Let me quickly fix this network and I will show you what I'm talking about. So when we run this code, we are going to get a true response. Because we just asked the computer to check if this variable, the name variable, has a value of W. So it's just checking if this value has a W. So when I change this to something else that's not in this value, I'm going to get a Boolean response of false. We have a little bit delay because of our network. We got a response of false because checking at this value and this name, we don't have any letter D. So when we still check s. We have s here, so we are going to get a true response because we have s here. So this is the basic of string data type. On our next class, next video, I'm going to show you how we are going to be working on an integer.